I almost gave up completely. I was training, eating clean, and spending hundreds of dollars on skincare products. I was literally this close from just completely quitting. And I remember one night I just had to stare myself in the mirror and I was wondering like why am I trying so hard and trying everything that people told me to do and I still look and feel terrible. Like just absolutely terrible. Like after 4 years of doing everything right by everybody's standard and being told online that this is what you should do and it would fix you and it worked for everybody, well, it didn't work for me. And I still felt fat, inflamed, insecure, just constantly, even though I was trying so hard. And I felt like I was doing everything right. I wasn't doing anything wrong because the people online were telling me to do certain things like train like this or eat like this. I was stuck. I was really stuck. But I finally found something that worked for me. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you how I did it, everything that I've gone through and why it didn't work, and how I lost 24 pounds and cleared up my skin completely. So, as you can see, I tried literally everything and nothing worked until this. This is how balancing my hormones lost me 24 pounds and finally cleared up my years of raging acne naturally, completely naturally, without any skincare products or drugs that I had to take in order to clear up my skin in just 20 weeks without living off the bland diet that everybody sells you and that you have to eat that is so boring to get you in shape and that is not sustainable at all, or using any skincare products whatsoever. So this is what I used to look like. This is the fat, inflamed, bloated person that I was back then, and this is when I did the mainstream advice of just eat a certain way, eat in the healthy way that everybody tells you to eat online. And this is what I look like now. It's a huge difference if you can't tell. My skin, you can't really see it in this photo. Maybe we'll get to further photos about how my skin was so bad, but right here, my skin was awful. I had chest acne. You could probably see a little bit there. And I was fat. I was bloated. I just felt like shit all the time. I can barely even think. But I'm shredded now completely. You can even see my striations on my arms and my shoulder, and I have like zero acne whatsoever. Like my energy is super high. My hormones are completely balanced. Like I'm telling you, it's the one thing that completely changed my life. I lost a ton of weight, and my skin, it's literally been the clearest it's been in years, by a long shot. In the past, all I really wanted was to feel good in my own body, clear the acne, and still eat real food without becoming some, psycho health freak that had to study, nutrition and, learn all this shit about, like, eating and diet and how to correctly do it. And I just wanted to be healthy without, doing all these things, like starving 6 days a week. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go so extreme. I just wanted to be a normal person that just didn't have all these problems. But for some reason, literally nothing I tried was working. And it didn't seem as simple as everybody said it was. I was told online so many times that it'd be so easy. You just had to do these things. Well, it didn't fucking work for me. I tried a ton of diets. Carnivore didn't get me very far. Keto, which was by far the worst one that I've tried, left me completely drained. And intermittent fasting, which only gave me more stress, only unbalanced my hormones even more, and cravings out the roof. I tried different training methods, high volume training, long running training, sprinting, every other training split imaginable, hit workouts, everything you can imagine. Seriously, I just tried it all. I tried different skin creams: CeraVe, Cetaphil, Vanicream, Tretinoin, all the different brands you can think of, or anything that you can, think that's mainstream. And last but not least, I've gone through the torture of Accutane. And if you don't know what Accutane is, basically it's just a drug or a pill that you eat, you consume, and it is supposed to slow oil production in your skin, and it's supposed to just get rid of acne. I'll just spare you the story. It didn't work for me. This was actually after I went through Accutane. It was supposed to completely clear up my skin, but yeah, this is what my skin used to look like. It was terrible. At the time, nothing worked out, and I couldn't figure out why. Like, I just didn't know why. I was doing everything right and still breaking out and constantly getting fat and gaining fat like I was some overweight dad in his like 40s or 50s. But after 4 years of terrible skin and seeing myself as, the fat kid in school and everybody calling me fat, I found out why nothing was, working the way I wanted to, and went from this constantly losing strength in the gym and having to take naps in the middle of the day while also eating sugar to keep me from collapsing. So I was literally just living off sugar, worrying about going out and feeling insecure because of how fat I was and how bad my fucking acne was. Feeling like there was no hope left because I tried everything under the sun, literally everything that was out there I tried. To this being in shape, shredded, jacked physique, having strength every single session, getting strength gains every single session, even while cutting, high energy all the time and not having to rely on, sugar as my main energy source, having a lean, shredded, and muscular physique, and clear, glowing skin, finally, after years of trying, that has like zero blemishes at all. And feeling like the absolute man in every single situation I go into, because of how much progress I've made in my goals in every part of my life. And if you don't believe me, I wouldn't either, because this is where I started. I've never had any good skin genetics. All 4 years of my high school, I had terrible skin. I had constant acne, inflammation inside my body. It never ended. This whole period of my journey, it was basically in high school when I got all this acne, and I just felt like shit all the time. And over 4 years, I've tried to correct it, basically, and it never worked. My third year of high school, I took Accutane because I tried so many things before that, like 2 or 3 years before that, and nothing worked. So my third year, I took Accutane and cleared up my skin for 6 months after using it. I felt great. However, 3 months after I got off of it, my acne instantly came back, just like that. It wasn't just my skin either. I was always known as the fat kid in school. I had bloating in my face. I was constantly overweight. Like, I was constantly fat my whole life. Like, literally, I was always known as a fat kid. I was never really good at any kind of sports. I've tried multiple diets on my journey, but none of them were unsuccessful, or none of them were successful because of how difficult they were to sustain. I was fed up with the lie that low carb diets or no carb diets were the answer, and it wasn't long after trying it, I had worse cravings than I've ever had before. I had no energy and everything just went down the shitter. I felt like garbage and I wanted to get off the diet so bad. I was tired and constantly fatigued, and sometimes I felt like I was going to pass out because I was working my summer job. I worked outside, painting and resealing parking lots, and that material, after working 10 hours a day and in the beating sun in summer would just get super hot. It was literally, like 100 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. We could measure it with, I don't know, some thermometer machine thing. But one day it was 140 degrees, and that's probably what the average was out there. And it was absolutely brutal. I went through so many diets that wrecked my hormones, and I was so tired of everything not working for me. I felt like I was just in a constant cycle of never being able to truly be in the best shape that I could be. Like, it was just constant. So I started searching for myself an answer to my health problems. I'd always been into lifting and getting stronger because I like seeing myself progress. I never really understood the importance of my hormones, and I was just like, the guy that ate chicken and rice, just like the mainstream media, or not mainstream media, but the mainstream social media advice that people give you for fitness and health and eating cleaner is just, chicken and rice is going to get you big. No, that did not work for me either. Coupled with fast food all the time to keep your, balance sustainable or whatever. I never considered what was happening inside of my body because of my diets. When I was eating fast food like Panda Express, like I would eat this exact bowl, like literally all the time. Chicken, the teriyaki chicken, orange chicken, and the noodles, and it's shitty for you. There's probably like 100 fucking ingredients inside this meal. I never thought about how my lifestyle was affecting my body. My mind was always on, dirty bulking and just eating everything in sight and calories out without knowing any of the real consequences. The goal I had set for myself of achieving the lean aesthetic physique was never going to be achieved if I couldn't lose the weight sustainably. It's just never going to happen. and having constant hormonal issues in the process was not helping me. Over and over. By the way, the hormonal issues I had in the process, I didn't know of. Like, I didn't know my hormones were unbalanced. I didn't even know really what hormones were at that time. I knew the word, but I didn't know what any of them did. But over and over, I'd ask myself, why is it so hard to lose weight sustainably? And how do I stay lean without gaining all the weight back? And the question that was most on my mind was, how the hell do I get rid of my acne? Because the entire time that I was trying to bulk and cut, and try to achieve a nice body, like, it wasn't going to be, a nice finished product even if I did get that, because my skin I had like a big fat fucking face with just skin issues all over. I was really just inflamed all over the place. My face was just completely red with acne, and I just couldn't get rid of it ever. Like, it was just there forever. And those questions would just constantly weigh on me for years. And I'd hoped that one of the fad diets that I tried would set me on the right path and be the ultimate answer for all the questions that I had. And I decided that there was no point of trying to face the false hope with all the diets that I've been trying, because literally none of them worked. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. I started diving deep into hormonal health after researching so many hours. And I had to figure out the answer for myself and why I felt so uncomfortable and insecure inside of my body. And that's why I struck absolute gold, literal gold dust. I found the answer to all of my problems. Like, it literally solved everything. I realized that I was doing everything wrong from the beginning. So 3-4 years, whatever, my progress towards, getting clear skin and the lean aesthetic physique, I realized that I was doing it completely wrong from the very beginning. And at this point, I had wasted 2 years of progress in the gym. 2 years of progress in the gym. Imagine that. Like, probably over 100 sessions or more that I wasted my time. Probably more, like 200 sessions, something like that. I wasted so much progress in the gym because of my mistakes. But I finally figured out why the answer to that was, and it was all symptoms of poor hormonal health. That was it. That's all I had to figure out. I cracked the code and reversed all of my symptoms, and the results speak for themselves. So you can see the picture earlier. I can't zoom in on it, but you saw it earlier in the video. I was just fat, inflamed, had a bunch of acne. You can't see this one really well, but I have no acne on my face, and you can see it's definitely more chiseled. Like, I don't have the fat bloating all over the place, and I just have a really clear face, and I just feel so confident. And I was able to achieve this using a diet that I've created. I've created this diet myself after spending over $7,000 on nutritional certification, as well as over thousands of hours of researching about nutritional and hormonal health. And I'm going to give it away completely for free. Completely for free. I literally cannot tell you how much time I've spent doing this and how much money I've spent. I've spent $7,000 on a nutritional certification just so I can learn everything that I, have right now. And it took forever, but I finally figured it out. And it was also the same diet that helped my clients balance their hormones they have lost over 20 pounds in under 2 months without any struggle. Actually, they've lost more than 20 pounds, but it's also the same diet that got me absolutely shredded and cleared up my skin completely and has left me feeling amazing every single day without any problems whatsoever. Now, here's the truth. You do not need to cut out carbs to get the body of your dreams, and you definitely do not need to cut out the foods that you love that everyone tells you to. This flywheel, this circle was me for years. So number one, starting an unsustainable diet, I've been brainwashed into trying another fad diet that some fitness influencer told me about online. Like, I would just be fed the advice of just poor coaches and just awful poor advice that they've been giving me. And I tried that diet. I made slow progress on these diets. I started making nice progress. I thought it'd be smooth sailing and it would go forever. And I would just, since it was, a slow progress, I just thought that if I kept doing it, it would work eventually. But I met the unbeatable plateau, as I like to call it, which I and many other people have faced multiple times, where I ended up meeting this plateau that most people can't get out of. At this point, I started seeing progress halt completely. Not only that, but also I was starting to get cravings for the food that I used to before starting this diet. So you can probably see this with a lot of people. You probably talk to a lot of people, or maybe even yourself, have started a diet and just completely cut it off completely because, I mean, maybe you started losing a couple pounds in the start, or maybe you started feeling a little bit better, but it always ends up unsustainable. Like, that's one of the biggest problems with these diets. It's just so unsustainable. There's nothing out there that's sustainable. And I failed the diet, and I gained back all the weight. So I tried incredibly hard to stick with it. But in the end, I failed. I gave up on my diet. I went back to my old lifestyle, my old habits, and I gained back all of my weight that I lost. So any sort of progress that I made, I lost completely, and I just went back to being, overweight, and I couldn't really do much about it because I just tried everything. And the real truth is that it does not have to be that hard at all. It really does not. In case you don't know me, here's a brief backstory of how I got here. So, I mean, as you can see, this is a really young version of myself. I mean, I was really young here. I can't remember, maybe like 12, 13 years old, something like that, maybe even younger. I started off with below genetics. I was known as a skinny fat kid. So you can maybe see a little bit of a bulge there. I used to be that way all the time. Like, I was just known as just like the skinny fat kid. And I was just known as this goofy kid that, I mean, you can't really see it in this picture very well, but I had like flub in the start of on the front of my stomach and the side of my stomach. So I had love handles really bad. These are younger photos, but I've always literally been this way forever. At this time, all I focused on was just, how to get abs in 1 week. Like, I would search up those videos, literally. Like, I would just, I'd tell my parents, like, oh, I'm starting to, work out. I did this 1 hour workout that was supposed to give me abs in a week. Like, that was me, and I did that. Like, it's not like it's kind of crazy how far I've gotten, but I thought that everything related to fitness and getting in shape would just be super easy for me because, I mean, other people did at my age. Like, other people were skinny. I just never really tried at it, so I thought, like, I get results pretty fast, and none of it worked. So I just decided I had to get serious with it. This was me when I first actually started working out and lifting. So I was still just this, like, you can't really see it, but like, I was just like overweight. I was still known as the skinny fat kid. Like, I was still fat here. I would not call this like skinny at all. I guess it was like, I'm not fat, but I'm not skinny. But this was me when I actually started working out and lifting. I was around 4 months into it. Even after all that time, I still held the frame of some skinny fat kid that never even looked like he touched a weight. So, I mean, you can't tell me that you look at this photo and think that I even lift weights, honestly. So around 3 months before this picture, I was, before this picture was taken, I hired a fitness coach to come help me, get in shape and actually, get my lean, shredded physique that I wanted. Because I was mindlessly doing things in the gym with no direction and no progress whatsoever. And I had been with this fitness coach for around 6 months, and even with beginner gains, I still was not making that much progress. So, the beginner gains that people tell you you'll get at the start, like, I wasn't really getting that. Like, I was just making like very subtle or no progress whatsoever. I started doing my own research because I realized that just wasn't really working out for me, the whole fitness coach thing, because he was just, feeding me the shit that like every other fucking person was giving me online. And I realized that everything that had been taught to me by this so-called coach was complete BS. So like, I didn't know at this time, but when I was coaching, like, I knew that, or I didn't know, but I figured out the stuff that he was saying was wrong. Completely wrong. Like, it was total BS. Like, everything that he had me doing was just, if I kept doing it now, I would be like half the size as I would today. And basically, I just got rid of him, and I started doing things my own way. This was me again, like, towards the beginning of my journey. Like, it's a goofy pictures. You gotta ignore the goofy pictures of this video, but I was just some goofy guy that was just, making a little bit of progress in the gym. I started making a little bit of progress, although everything that I knew was very mainstream. So, I wasn't making as much progress as I think I would and you would think. I was still happy with the changes I was making, don't get me wrong. I just knew that I had more in me, and other people were getting results much faster than me, and I just feel like I could do more. And that's when things really took a turn. I took more of the mainstream advice, just eat more, calories in, calories out, and the macros are the only things that matter. The stuff that you'll hear from every single, fitness coach out there, that just, it doesn't matter, like calories in, calories out. I gave into the advice, and it got me absolutely nowhere. I developed an unbelievable amount of acne on my face that I'd ever seen before, and with worse skin quality at my age. I was very self-conscious about it, and I was incredibly insecure because I never had a problem like this before. As you can see, this is terrible. Like, seriously, look at the acne on my face. Like, I had it everywhere. Like, you can imagine, I had a shirt on here, but I have it on my chest, on my back, on my shoulders. It was really, really bad. I felt super insecure about this. Like, I had acne all over my cheeks. It was the worst on my forehead. Like, it was so bad. Like, this was me for like 2 or 3 years. Like, legitimately, it was bad. Like, even here too, this is bad. Like, you can see this shit that I was eating, just completely garbage. It was a milkshake. Like, you can see this terrible skin quality on my face. Like, I just had acne everywhere. And I was doing, the balanced diet that everybody told me to. I didn't realize at the time, but my quality of the food was awful, obviously. And I haven't given enough thought into, what I was shoving down my throat at the time. I just thought, oh, it must be a puberty thing, but I was totally wrong. Again, ignore the goofy photos, but I had acne. This is, even further in the future. I still just had the same skin quality all of those years. I tried to improve the quality of my food, but nothing was changing. I really had no idea or no clue what was healthy and what wasn't healthy. My acne, it's persisted on. It was the same. Like, it's the exact same. Just, there's so much, like, you can see the redness in my face. Like, you can see the red acne. But if you, look really close, like, there are tiny bumps everywhere. Like, the little tiny bits of acne, like, that you can't see was everywhere. Like, I felt like I had, scales on my face, but it was just, bumps of acne. It was terrible. I had it all over me. After years of this problem occurring over and over again, I had to face the facts that it just wasn't normal to have this much acne on my face. Like, literally, I had never seen anybody in my grade, in my high school, or any of my friends, or anybody I've ever heard of online even. Like, I've never seen this bad of acne in my life. So that's when I went to my dermatologist, and she insisted that I started taking Accutane because, first I went through, different sort of, topical creams that I could put on, or Vanicream, this might work, or CeraVe, this cleanser might work, maybe changing my diet a little bit to what they told me was really healthy, and that didn't work either. Literally none of that worked. So I had to take a drug. It was a pill. It's literally known as a drug, and she explained that it was a very powerful drug, and it's known to treat severe acne like I had, and she told me it works by reducing oil production, minimizing pore clogging, and preventing, inflammation inside my body. I basically had no other choice but to take it because it just was persisting on. And I was hoping it would fix my acne. And this was, 3 months into it. You can see what I was talking about earlier with the bumps on my skin. It's just micro bumps everywhere. But this was, I would say I think this was about 3 months into it. But it was just terrible. It made it worse in the beginning. The halfway through, it made it so much worse. I just had little bumps everywhere. It looked way worse than real life. When I looked in the mirror, I was severely disappointed of how I looked. I was just so insecure. So yeah, 3 months went by, and I could just feel my face getting dry all the time. I felt horrible. It was a terrible experience because I kept getting dry all the time. I kept getting mood swings because it messes with your mind. It really fucks with your mind when you take this powerful drug. That's a side effect. I could see that my acne wasn't going away at this point. I really didn't have any hope in it actually working. But finally, after some time, it started to clear up. You couldn't see it, but there's still tiny bumps on my forehead. But the bad stuff really started to disappear. There's a little bit, but honestly, it was pretty clear. But the one thing that was the absolute worst fucking part of Accutane was the dryness was terrible. Like literally, my lips. I had to. So I have this thing here. I even have it now. I use it every day. It's called Aquaphor. I'm sure you guys know this brand, but basically it's just like lip sealer with, it just helps you seal your lips and make them, plump and give some hydration to it. And I just put this on every day like this for like every 3 to 5 minutes. Like every 3 to 5 minutes I would put on the Aquaphor because my lips were so dry. And if you look closely, the sides of my lips were terrible. Like literally, you can kind of see it here, but like skin was like I had to, like, it hurt to like open my mouth because of how dry the sides of my lips were. I had this for months on months, like probably like 5 or 6 months. Like almost every part of Accutane, I had this, and I was honestly afraid that like my mouth would be like scarred from this. Like the sides of my mouth might be scarred. Like even like the tops of my lips, the bottoms, like it was all just super dry. Like yeah, my month 5 and 6 went by, and I had seen some significant improvement in my acne, and my face had become pretty clear, and things seemed to be shaping up with my acne. I was near the end of my cycle with the drug, and I had about a month left because the average time that somebody takes Accutane is around 5 or 6 months. Although I was pretty happy with the results, my body felt like it was torn apart, like just destroyed. And the amount of dry skin I had all over my body, like I had dry skin on my arms, like I was flaking. And like when you get a sunburn somewhere, like you see the flaky skin? Yeah, I had that while I was on this drug. Like I felt like I was like literally like drying up, like everywhere. Not just my face, like my lips, my face, my head, my arms, my legs, my chest, like everything was peeling. I just felt dry, like I was dehydrated all the time or something. I drank a lot of water, trust me, but it just felt terrible all the time. I'm sure you can probably tell by the photo that my face cleared up, but if you look close to me, I had the worst lips ever. Like, yeah, I already showed you that. My lips were incredibly dry, especially on the sides. They would crack 24/7, and I had to constantly put lip repair cream, like I just said, every 3 minutes for 6 months straight because it literally lasted the whole time. My lips are even still damaged to this day. I think like the sides of them are like out more. I feel like I see other people's lips that are kind of like a little bit more normal, and they don't like kind of go out as much because I just had to constantly peel skin all the time. It was really bad. The cracking was terrible. Besides the damage to my body, I was pretty happy with the results, honestly, and I was ready to show off my clear skin to everybody. Here was pretty good. Like a lot of the bumps had disappeared. See the sides of my lips, like they're just like out like that, and you can see they're still a little bit damaged. Like it's just weird. Like it doesn't feel normal. Like I was starting to get a little bit like less dry, but my acne cleared up. It was nice. Here's a better photo, kind of in the light. Pretty clear, honestly. Like there's really not that much. Like there wasn't that much acne at the very end of it. So I mean, it seemed like it did the job, but it really wasn't worth going through all that pain to just get clear skin. You know what I mean? The results of Accutane were incredible, and I couldn't believe that I didn't have acne on my face for once. Like, for once in my goddamn life, after going through puberty, I didn't have acne on my face. It made me feel incredibly free and 100 times more confident. Like, you can see in this photo, I mean, like, maybe, I guess, is that acne? I don't know. I don't know what that is. It may be 1 or 2. But I just had super incredibly clear skin, like everywhere. I just felt really confident. I was working a summer job with my friends. I just felt super confident. Here too, I don't know what that is. That's not acne. I know. I know for sure that's not acne. But yeah, as you can see, I had a pretty clear, like glass-looking face. Like I was really confident in my body. All these pictures were taken in 2023 in this one summer, and at this point, I had been the absolute most confident version of myself that I'd ever been in my entire life, and everything just felt like bliss, and I was incredibly happy because before, I had terrible acne and I was out of shape, and now I was, I had pretty clear skin, and I was, starting to get in more shape. I wasn't, completely shredded or anything like that, but I was starting to get more shape, get more confident, and I have more goofy photos, but as you can see here, my face is still super clear of acne. There's really nothing on it. This picture is incredible. Like you can just see how like I was glowing. Like this is like the best picture ever. Like this was like the peak of my I guess my acne like disappearing from Accutane, because it's supposed to like fix it or whatever from whatever. But like this was like a couple of months after Accutane, like glowing clear skin. Like I was so confident. Like I was so confident because I had like a tan and my face was clear and everything. I was going out, with my friends, and I'm pretty sure at this time I was on the boat with my girlfriend, so I just felt like super confident. I was playing music. It was awesome. And my skin was completely glowing. I couldn't get enough of it because all my life I'd had terrible skin, and it was finally clearing up for the first time ever. And just more pictures here, just of having more clear skin. Yeah, I just had super clear skin. I thought it was going to last forever, and I wasn't ever gonna have to worry about my skin health again. But I was completely wrong, unfortunately. After, see, I got off Accutane. It was around like springtime, and then that summer job was the period of where I was like super confident and I had really clear skin. But then towards the winter time, like September, towards the fall, I started getting like really bloated, and my acne came back like that again and again and again. And this is a picture that you saw earlier after Accutane. This is like this is where I went to Top Golf. I took this picture. As you can see, I had a stocking cap on. It was towards winter time or fall or whatever. So probably about like 3 or 4 months, 5 months maybe after taking Accutane. You can see the difference between this shit and where's it at? Those two photos are like 2 or 3 months different. I mean, that is insane. Like around 4 months passed, around that time, my Accutane started to fail me. I started getting more bloated, my skin just started to go back to where it used to be, where I just had terrible skin all the time. My acne came back like it literally never left. So here, yeah, I mean, pretty much the same pictures before. I just had terrible skin, awful skin. It all just came back like instantly, like that. And I was going out partying. Of course, that wasn't helping me. And I just like my bumps started to come back. All the acne came back. It was terrible. I started to cope by going out and partying. I knew this wasn't the solution, but I had to, let loose or whatever because I was in high school and towards my senior year. But I was really just digging myself a deeper hole that I really didn't want to be in. This was when I went on my trip to Punta Cana. Not Punta Cana. This was Cancun. But when I went on my trip to Cancun, this is a pretty clear photo of it, of how bad the acne was, and my face just like returned to its round shape again. Like I wasn't like shredded or anything, or like I wasn't like in shape. I just like went back to this like bolder looking face with all this acne, and I just felt terrible. And here's another picture, bad acne everywhere, on my forehead, under my nose, like it was terrible. I made it even worse. I went to an all-inclusive resort in Mexico and went absolutely ballistic, shoving down, all the food that I get my hands on, and consuming, things I shouldn't have because it was legal to drink alcohol down there since I was 18 years old. So this entire trip, I just been doing the same shit, and I just look like the difference between this photo and the pictures that I had in summer is absolutely ridiculous. Like that is insane. Like I literally look like a completely different person. Here too, same photo, pretty much, just like the same. That was from the same day. And this is a photo that you saw earlier at the beginning. You can see a little bit better now since it's pulled up. But like, I had acne on my chest. I had the acne on my face, as you can see from here. This is the same day. Don't get me wrong, it was relaxing going on the trip, and I didn't have a care in the world. The problem was that I would wake up the next day and I just had an instant regret of the actions I took before, because I'd look in the mirror and I'd look at myself and I just looked out of shape, and I had all my acne back. I knew that, eating more food wasn't going to help me, obviously. And in the back of my mind, I felt terrible doing these things because it was my dream to have a lean, shredded physique when I got older. My actions were definitely not going to get me there. Like, I bought this hat, like, where the fuck was I last night? Like, I was just getting drunk constantly. It was fun, like, but it wasn't worth it. And, like, of course, I kept coping with the fact that I was just going out on one trip and just living a shitty lifestyle. I should just keep living a shitty lifestyle for the rest of the time that I was there. But that was a terrible mindset to have, obviously. You don't want to just go on a trip and just completely let yourself go. That's not a good thing. And, it's the same photos. Like, it's the same photos as the trip. It's terrible. I came back from the trip and looking like I was, literally 3 years older than that exact same summer, like 3 months ago. I'd gotten completely out of shape again, and all my acne was back so quick from all the partying and living, carefree. And this is what I looked like when I got back. Same photos. Just looked like shit. After I got back from the trip, I tried another diet that helped me lose weight. Again, I tried the keto diet. The message of the low, with no carb had been shoved down my throat, and I wanted to try it out for myself. Little did I know that this diet was going to absolutely ruin me. This is the worst diet that I've tried. After around 3 months of starting this diet, I'd lost some weight, but I noticed that something was off. I was stupidly tired all the time. Like I was completely drained. During my workouts, during the day. Like I would sleep in my boss's truck on the way to work to my job site in the next summer, and I just felt terrible. Like I never felt like my energy was ever stable, and I would constantly crave carbs, sugar all the time, just nonstop. I lost a ridiculous amount of strength in the gym and trying to push through this diet. Like, I can't tell you how much progress I lost just because of this single diet. My bench press was 245 pounds, and it went down to 205 pounds in like 4 months. It was ridiculous. How is that even possible? And I was still training at this time, and I felt like shit. I was so tired all the time. I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep training more and more and more. And the more I train, the less muscle's going to come off. And it's just bullshit. I lost so much strength, and I was super unmotivated. And that just made me want to quit the gym, honestly. Like, that's when I was like this close to again. And it was just fucking ridiculous. Honestly, it was just ridiculous. And I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea why this was happening to me. I actually found out that my diet fatigue was super crazy high. And I had to constantly take more and more deload weeks to plan in more rest days and stuff like that. Just because, I was just, the fatigue inside my body, my nervous system fatigue was just so high over and over and over, just training super hard, trying to, get my strength back. But that wasn't helping me at all. But I couldn't have any energy even after taking those rest days, more rest days and deload weeks, because I had an awful diet that was not giving me any nutritional benefit. And I lost my desired amount of fat, but stopped going after that. Stopped going on that diet because that was an absolute joke. I never want to try anything like that again. My acne was still bad, and I was desperate to find an answer to these problems. So, even after going through this diet, I heard people say, cutting out sugar, sugar's the problem. Sugar's going to clear up your face and, get rid of inflammation and all that shit. It just didn't work for me. I still had the bad skin condition constantly. And I lost my desired amount of fat, but I just stopped going. But I had to figure myself, there had to be another way. There had to be another way. And that's when I discovered the power of hormonal balance. I started doing some intense, deep research into my hormonal health. And in my research, I finally figured out the way to balance my hormones and optimize my life for fat loss and muscle gain at the same time in the gym. So, as before, I was losing strength in the gym while cutting down. That was not good, especially since I was, an intermediate, still beginner lifter. That was not good. I should not be losing that much strength while cutting, if not at all. And now I learned how to, maximize my gains in the gym and also cut fat at the same time and still gain strength while I was cutting. So I did the complete opposite. And I found a way to reduce all the inflammation inside my body and make my acne disappear again. So where I used to be. I tried a diet based on my findings that would completely changed my life forever. It combined all of the different strategies for balancing hormonal health while also keeping it sustainable for the longest time possible. I've been on this diet for over a year now, and I'm still on it. I'm never going to quit it. I swear to God, I will never quit this diet. I don't think I will never find anything better about any other diet than this. This is the perfect diet. And here are the results. So, I got shredded. I got shredded because of this. I'm not the most jacked person in the world, but I'm, 3.5, 4 years into lifting, and after doing, 2 years of just basically pointless training and losing strength, this is a good physique for 4 years of training, and I'm just super shredded in this. I had a super skinny waist and everything, still do. Ever since then, I've been living incredibly sustainably by also having high levels of energy again, gaining strength in the gym instead of losing it while cutting down body fat. And last but not least, I cured my acne, or I caused my acne to cease. So just, it was gone forever. I finally did it. I finally got my acne to disappear. This is by far the most perfect diet that I've ever put my hands on. I swear to you, this is the perfect diet for anybody, especially for me who had hormonal imbalance. It was insane. I never realized I had a hormonal imbalance. I never, thought to even consider that it was my hormonal health. Like, why would a young teenage kid have hormonal issues? But the diets that we eat nowadays and the stuff that we do, our lifestyle that we live, causes so much hormonal imbalance and metabolic dysfunction inside our body. It is absolutely insane. I'll get to that here soon. But this is absolutely the most perfect diet that I've ever had my hands on, and this diet was without a doubt what allowed me to achieve the results that I've gotten over the last year and a half. Like, crazy picture. I'm shredded in this. I just feel amazing. This is how I look now. This was taken a couple weeks ago. I finally realized that every diet and training plan and skincare product I tried was like slapping a Band-Aid on a bolt wound. Because it would quick fix for just a little bit, slapping that Band-Aid on. But it would just, as soon as I tore it off, it was still there. I mean, I just hit it, basically. It didn't fix anything completely. It was just another picture of me just being super in shape because of this diet. I kept getting results in every single part of my body. My face improved. I shredded fat easily. I have more energy. I got stronger every single gym session, even while losing weight. And this is the picture that I had earlier. I have no acne on my face whatsoever. Again, so I've returned back to where I used to be. I have the most confident. Body because I'm I'm now shredded and lean, and I have a clean face. My skin has become just as clear as when I started taking a literal drug to stop oil production and stop acne from forming. How insane is that? Literally, I can't explain to you. I took a drug to help me clear up my acne, and this diet is stronger than that because it didn't work. It worked for 3 months, and then it failed me because you don't understand. This drug is supposed to last you forever. Like I don't think you understand this oil production that it's supposed to stop. It stops oil production or slows oil production forever. Like I no longer have high levels of oil production. It's gone forever, but it still didn't work. So like that was not the solution. It was just a big Band-Aid that I put on just a very large wound that I've had for so long. But instead of the small Band-Aids that I put on me, like the topical creams or the facial cleansers or the moisturizers, it was a huge Band-Aid that I tried to put on it, but it didn't work. It was just temporary. It's insane. This diet is stronger than a drug. It's absolutely incredible. I felt so good about myself knowing that I didn't need any medication to have clear skin. I invented a diet that would absolutely allow me to experience the greatest highs without having any sort of side effects whatsoever. Every single day on this diet has made me feel incredibly amazing and on top of the world. The results that I have not stopped getting results since starting this diet. The results of this diet, plus the passion I have for the gym, made me pursue one of the best nutritional coaching certifications that was out there. So I had so much progress in this diet. I was already, I already loved the gym, and my future, goal was to be a personal trainer anyhow. But after discovering and trying this diet for myself and inventing this diet myself, I wanted to give it to the world because I know that, I created it myself. There's no way that anybody else knows about it. And there's nobody online that talks about hormonal balance. Like, search up somebody and tell me who online knows of hormonal balance and how to do it. There's literally nobody. So after all this time and my passion for all this stuff, because I just felt so good about it, after all this passion and all this time put into it, I decided to pursue one of the greatest nutritional coaching certifications that's out there. And I wanted to make sure that I had top tier information on how to coach my clients to their best ability. So I didn't want nothing less than the best. Like, I wanted the best nutritional certification out there. I wanted people to know that I'm tough shit, and I spent a lot of money on this and a lot of time, and it's a very high level. It's probably, I haven't seen a greater nutritional certification than this. It's insane. I had no regrets spending over $7,000 on the certification. It provided me the best knowledge on how to coach me. So I had like all the knowledge of how to, get in shape and lose all the weight and, keep my skin from, being inflamed, and I had the perfect diet. I just didn't know how to coach people. Like, I didn't ever really know how, like, I did it myself, but I never knew how to coach people to actually do it. And I wanted to coach me and my clients towards their best results, so I wanted to get a nutritional coaching certification. As you can see, this is just a screenshot of my certification of completion at NCI, the Nutritional Certification Institute. And this is my level 1 applied coaching nutritional certification, and I'm still going through it. But this was issued on October 3rd, 2024, so this is about a year ago, a little bit less than a year ago. So yeah, I've been over on this diet for, a little over a year. I know the results that my diet and my coaching would give to my clients would undoubtedly work. It was just a matter of time. I just had to find a couple people who wanted to work with me and believe that this new diet that an 18-year-old kid made was actually worth trying. So I was pretty worried about people not, trusting me with this stuff. That's why I wanted to get this super good nutritional certification, because I wanted people to trust me. I knew that I had a really, really good service. I knew that I could lose people weight and balance their hormones. That was the problems that they were looking for all this time. That was a solution that they were looking for all this time. After some time, I was finally able to find some people that decided to give it a try. Yes, of course, I had a couple clients in there that at the start they weren't really willing to put any effort because they didn't have any investment and they didn't really have any time. They were too lazy for it, whatever. They didn't believe it would actually work, so they didn't try. But for the clients that truly did give it a chance, let me tell you that was the best decision they've ever made. So here we are. I'm shredded. I'm lean. I have clear skin. And it took a long time for me to figure out this for myself. And good things don't come easy. And it takes a long time. And it takes a lot of learning. But I've been through countless struggles up to this point. I'm going to experience countless more. But I do know that with my newfound knowledge, I am very well equipped. I believe myself very well equipped to face those challenges for myself if anything were to appear in the future. And from all the way back when I was a skinny fat kid hoping to someday have his dream physique to now, I've made a ton of progress towards my dream physique. But I'm not done yet. I still have so much work to do. And I want to bring others along with me for the ride because, I've achieved a lot of results and I want my clients to do the exact same. Because I know that this is the perfect diet for anybody, and the hormonal problems and metabolic dysfunction is the number one thing that they're trying to find a solution for, but they don't actually know that they have that problem in the first place. I can tell you, though, that this diet will fast-track me and my clients' progress by 5x, guaranteed. So, who's this video even for? Truly. Now that I've gotten the story out of the way and everything, who is this video truly for? Who watching this video is this truly for that is willing to learn? If you're sick of trying diets that are unsustainable in the long run, you've always gained the weight back after you finish the diet and you have no idea why, this is for you. This video is for you. If you're wishing you could have a long-term sustainable diet that helps you lose weight at unbelievable speeds without, not getting any diet fatigue whatsoever, and instead feeling you have more energy than when you started, this is for you. If you're excelling in your workouts, but you have no idea why working out harder with more intensity and eating more healthy meals that people tell you online to eat is not losing you the weight and making you feel better, this video is for you. If you're aiming to keep the body fat off for good and never gain back body fat again without ever having to worry about the fear of it coming back, this is for you. If you're looking to figure out the reason why you're not feeling the best, like your best self, and you're not making any progress towards your weight loss journey, this video is for you. Who is this video not for? Who is this video not for? For the people who just don't want to take action and don't want to even try. If you're not willing to put in the work to make real change within your body and become free from the suffering of fad diets and the mainstream advice, you're never going to escape the infinite loop, the flywheel that I had earlier of just trying infinite unsustainable diets and never winning. If this video is not for you, if you don't want to try anything new, if you're not willing to put in the work, this is not for you. If you do not have enough discipline to stick through the long phases of learning and enduring, long phases of learning and challenges, instead you wait for the first perfect time in your life to start, which will never happen, by the way. There's no perfect time to start. The perfect time to start is now. I heard this quote actually the other day that if you have no time right now, like right now in your life, this is the youngest and most in shape you'll be at this very moment if you're watching this video. And the crazy thing is that you will never have any more free time in your life than you have right now, because you're a young kid, or you're not a young kid, but this is the youngest you'll ever be. Even whoever is watching this video, this is the youngest you will ever be. And saying, later I'll do this, or later I'll start the gym without, if you just pray that you're going to be in shape, it's never going to happen. You might as well just throw your dream out the window without any action taken, because you're never going to get a better chance than it is now. So if you're never willing, if you don't have the discipline to stick through it, this video is not for you. If you're not coachable and won't take feedback or think you know everything about dieting and losing weight, because you absolutely don't. I thought this before. I spent years focusing on this. This is not for you. Don't be arrogant. Don't think that you know everything in the world, or this is easy, because it's really not. And it just goes so much further in depth that you have no idea. You have no idea what goes on inside your body, and it's incredible the amount of things that you can actually learn and overcome certain beliefs that you have about yourself and the ideals that you've been surrounded with for your whole life and people that you've been telling you. If you're not coachable and won't take feedback, this video is not for you. If you're not ready to change your current lifestyle and put in some effort to balance your hormones and feel 10 times better after balancing those hormones than you do right now, this video is not for you. If you want to step in with one foot saying, I'm just going to, try it out. I'm just going to try it out and not fully, have both feet in without leaping towards your dream, this is not for you. This video is not for you. If you want to balance your hormones and get into the best shape of your life without having while having a balanced lifestyle, finally having a sustainable diet, and without having to live like David Goggins, hardcore, like, what does he say? He's like, Can't Hurt Me, like that book. And like, stay hard shit. Like, if you don't want to be David Goggins, so keep watching, because you don't have to be that kind of level of intense discipline. I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to completely turn my life around and do the exact same for my clients using something I like to call the low spike diet. This is the diet that I've created that has completely changed my life and my clients' life forever. Undoubtedly. So I want to give you an overview of the low spike diet. This is exactly, I want you to, okay, so like, I know you maybe paid attention since you're here at this time in this video from earlier, from when I told you my story and everything, and how I changed, what I used to be and what I am now. But this is where you really have to focus. Like, this is the whole point of the video. I'm getting you free sauce. This is pretty much everything. This is not everything, I know, but I'm giving you this complete free sauce completely for free. So, the overview of the low spike diet. First, this is what I've done and me and my clients have done. So first, I had to learn hormones. I had to identify hormonal profiles. So what are they? Like, what hormones do we have to balance? What is unbalanced? Like, why are they caused to be? Why are they unbalanced? Like, how can we balance them? The second is regulating glucose and insulin levels. Guys, this is the most important thing of the diet. I'm telling you, this is what makes this diet. Regulating glucose and insulin levels. I will teach you how to later in this video. But right now, just keep in mind that glucose and insulin levels inside of your body, if you stabilize those, it will not solve everything, but it is a big piece of the puzzle. Setting a periodization blueprint. So you actually have to set up a plan for yourself of how you're going to actually achieve your results. And then optimizing your diet and your foods that directly balances hormones. So, all the foods that have, I'm going to take my headphones off. It's annoying me. Okay, there we go. Those headphones were annoying me. All right, so, where's that off? Optimizing diet and foods that directly balance hormones. So, the old diet food that, everybody's telling you to eat, that'll, fix your life and get you shredded, and all those diets that, there's certain food, like, you can't just eat every single food and expect to, lose weight. Like, there are certain foods that destroy your health, obviously. There are some foods that completely balance your hormones. Like, there are specific foods that I've learned that balance your hormones directly. So you have to switch your diet and, switch to foods that will actually balance your hormones. So, and the last one is long-term success with what I like to call the TC system, which I'll explain later. So, first of all, identifying hormonal profiles. Okay, so first, we have to start by understanding our hormones and how they function inside the human body. So how do they actually work, This is crucial for helping me regain my health, and this was crucial for helping me regaining my health and losing weight. So this is, super important. Like hormonal profile, hormones is the most important thing. Like, if I haven't said it already in this video, health equals hormones. Like, oh yeah, here it is. Health, hormones equals health. So that's what I believe. And identifying hormone profiles and how they work, like what are they? That's the most important thing. So what I mean by that is, if you can balance your hormones, then you'll feel healthier, look healthier, and you will hardly even have to worry about any health conditions as long as your hormones are balanced. Like, seriously, that is the main thing you need to focus on, is just hormonal balance. In this picture, I've been training for 2.5 years, and the progress you can see is pretty pathetic. So, like, you can see, like, I had a pudge there, like, I had no developed chest whatsoever, like, I had, like, flubby chest, like, I had these skinny-ass arms. Like, you can't tell me, this is the skinniest fucking arms ever. Like, I look so average in this photo. Like, I've 2.5 years, and I wasn't even, like, I've stepped in the gym not a single time. So, I didn't have my hormones balanced, and I was making incredibly slow progress. Hormones are the most important thing to understand and manage. It literally decides how much progress you make, and it decides how much progress you'll make to achieving a goal. So it just completely decides, like, everything when it comes to goal achievement with physique, or even with, like, achieving a goal doesn't have to be just like achieving a certain body type. Even just like clearing up your face like I did. And balancing your hormones will make you feel like you're living life on easy mode, without a doubt. And all it takes is to first balance them, and that is the most crucial part. So that's the first thing I want to go over on how, what the actual overview of the low spec diet is. You have to balance your hormones. That is really, really important. All it takes is to first balance them. That is the most crucial part. Your weight loss will not work without it. So your weight loss will not work without it. Like, I've gotten to points where I just made an Instagram reel about this, even on Instagram, that was talking about how I've done 3 cuts on these diets, and nothing worked like that until, like, I was able to lose weight, but I was never able to, like, really get to the desired level of body fat that I want. And it would never work without balanced hormones, but now it works. Like, now I'm shredded. And your diet will not work without it. And your training will be a waste of time without it. So balancing hormones is the most crucial part. Everything else will fall into place. And if you don't balance your hormones, you'll stay stuck, and you'll stay wondering what the problem is and why you're making such slow progress. So I used to train with intent every single day, but what I didn't know was that I was wasting my time on training instead of figuring out how to solve the actual foundations that would in turn fuel my workouts, fuel my progression completely. What I mean by that is fueling my workouts. Like, I used to, when I was cutting, I had no training fuel whatsoever. I explained earlier that I had a 245 pound bench press max, and I went down to 205. Like, that's pathetic. 40 fucking pounds down in a single lift over 3-4 months is just fucking diabolical. It's ridiculous. I would argue that it's almost pointless to even try anything new with training or diets if you don't have your hormones balanced. Like, that's how serious I am about this. Like, you seriously have to focus on hormone balance really badly. All right, next, regulating glucose and insulin levels. This is the real juice of the diet. So I know I told you to pay attention in this whole section, but this part here, right here, regulating glucose and insulin levels, this is really important. So the hormonal profiles, that's really important, and this is also really, really important. So this is the real juice of the diet. Pay attention during this section, because this is what will absolutely change your life. Regulating glucose and insulin levels was undoubtedly what was able to, cause my hormonal balance, and for me to be able to balance my hormones, clear my skin, reduce inflammation, lose all of this weight that I've lost, and feel incredibly healthy. Incredibly healthy. First, let's talk about glucose. So, there's a lot about this, but to give it a basic breakdown, I left some pictures up here to kind of help explain it a little bit. So this is like the molecule of glucose, like right here. This is the actual molecule of glucose, what it looks like. When we eat carbs, this is the system of glucose, by the way. So when we eat carbs, it's broken down into our body as glucose. So whenever we eat, a carb like sweet potato, fruits, if you're eating like ice cream, like sugary, like either sugar or carbs from starches, like anything like that, it is broken down into glucose inside of our body. When it is broken down, it permeates our gut lining and it's sent to the bloodstream. So you digest it and then it gets permeates into our gut lining and it gets sent straight to the bloodstream. And when you have an excess amount of carbs, this is called a glucose spike. So the quicker and the faster and the more amount of the glucose that enters your blood, the more you have of a glucose spike. That's what it's called, a blood sugar or a glucose spike. And the quicker that this glucose arrives to your bloodstream, the quicker and the bigger spike you're going to have. This is what makes you experience a sugar high. So like whenever, kids, like this is a pretty good example. Like kids, whenever you feed them like sugar or something like that, they say they have like you can say they have like a sugar high or something like that. Like that's what actual glucose it does to you. It makes you feel like you have this instant burst of energy. That's why people have like carbs before or after the gym to like replenish their glycogen stores or give them energy for workouts, because that's what gives you your energy. It's the number one fuel source for your body and your brain is glucose. So it's incredibly important, and keep it brief. Keto and cutting out carbs is not the fucking answer. I can tell you that right now. I explained that earlier. But so what makes you experience sugar high is glucose. We have around 30 trillion cells in our body, and they can all feel it when we have these glucose spikes. So basically, glucose is delivered to every single cell in your body, and every single cell in our body can feel this glucose spike. And we're completely made up of cells, so your whole body will feel it. That's why day to day you feel like shit, because if you don't have your glucose and insulin, well, right now we're on glucose, but if you don't have your glucose stabilized constantly, you're just going to be up and down, feeling like you have energy spikes and energy lows all the time throughout the day. When it goes through our bloodstream, it binds to other molecules while it's traveling through it. So this causes the molecules to get damaged. So whenever it goes through our bloodstream, the longer that it's in the bloodstream, the more molecules it gets attached to, and that damages or destroys those molecules. So, like, there's a ton of different like molecules throughout our body, but all of them in our bloodstream too. Like, they all get destroyed whenever it's touched by these glucose molecules. So, you don't want all those problems. It causes a ton of problems. And I don't know if I remembered to put the problems of glucose spikes in there, but to name off a few. So. First, we have aging, inflammation, highs and lows in the day, brain fog, mood swings, and depression, and anxiety, and hormonal imbalance. That's a completely separate side point, but yeah. So all these things, there's I think I have it down in my notes. There's like 47 different main problems that this causes, so you just don't want it. We have one of these spikes in our body. When we have one of these spikes in our body, it senses it, and that's a bad thing. That this is a bad thing, and the glucose can't stay in our bloodstream. So the body recognizes after a certain point that the glucose is actually, it's really bad for us inside our bloodstream. It's destroying our molecules inside of our bloodstream. So it releases insulin from your pancreas, tell you to basically grab those glucose molecules inside of your bloodstream. So it grabs those. Insulin's job is to grab those glucose molecules inside of your bloodstream and store them in order: your liver cells, your muscle cells, and then your fat cells in order. I'll explain that. I'll explain insulin in a minute. So basically just kind of, just know what insulin does. It just grabs glucose and delivers it to the cell inside the body. different cells. At first, it's to the liver, and then our muscle cells and our fat cells, in that order. So if our liver and muscle cells are full, then the rest of the glucose is stored in our fat cells, which makes us fat, obviously. So if your glycogen stores, which is basically just like the storage of glucose inside of your cells, if that is full, if your glycogen stores are full in your liver and muscle cells, your glucose has no other way to turn but to make it into fat. It's directly turned into fat. So, there's your answer for, why you gain a lot of fat in your body. It's not the complete answer, but it's a good answer. It's directly correlated with fat gain. I just include this picture of fat because you gain fat whenever you have a glucose spike. So this means that glucose is directly related to fat gain. Okay, directly related. This is a bad thing, obviously. You might think that we may just need to cut out carbs because if you eat more glucose and the glucose, if their glucose glycogen levels are full, then it's just going to be gained as fat. And you should just do what everybody else says in order to lose weight, and that is just to cut out carbs. But that is where I and everyone else were making a mistake. So I used to think that. I do not think that now at all. Glucose is the primary energy source for our body, and it gives us energy throughout the day. It is essential for keeping us fueled while we're active. So that is why I was so incredibly tired back then, because I didn't have any energy from glucose throughout the day. And while I was working out, that's where you use a lot of your glucose, and I just didn't have it in my store. So I performed poorly. And even while I'm speaking to you, I'm burning thousands and thousands of glucose molecules inside of my body. So when I'm moving around, when I'm moving my fingers, I'm burning thousands of glucose molecules. It's everywhere. We use glucose as our fuel inside of our body. So obviously, the answer is not to cut out carbs. If you really want to get in the gym and you want to get in shape and you want to push hard on things, you're going to feel drained if you don't have carbs. So obviously, the answer is not to cut out carbs. It was to reduce glucose spikes. Obviously, because they cause fat gain, but we have to manage the energy supply that it gives us and also the fat gain that it gives us. But you don't have to have the fat gain if you just don't have glucose spikes. So the ultimate answer to all of my problems was reducing glucose spikes. You may be thinking, how are you supposed to lower glucose levels if you don't cut out carbs? Well, I used to think I use the low spike diet along with other strategies that I've learned to reduce glucose spikes and still eat carbs every single day. I eat lots of carbs. I eat a ton of carbs. I really don't have a low sugar or low carb diet. I have very high levels of sugar and I feel amazing. And I'm still able to keep my skin clear, and I'm still able to not get fat. So, and I don't have any glucose spikes, and I don't have the side effects of glucose spikes, just like gaining fat and having brain fog or, feeling tired over and over. I feel stable. I have like a high stable energy levels. So I just had to find the right amount of carbs to eat in the day. I had to eat the right kind of carbs. I had to eat at the right time, and I had to learn how to eat them. So this is so important. I have to teach this to you. It's crazy important. It's not just what you eat. It is what you eat, but it's not just what you eat. It's how you eat them. So this is a crazy crucial part inside of my diet and what I teach my clients is it's not just what you eat, it's how you eat. That way, I could minimize the damage being done to my body is just reducing these glucose spikes while also using it as jet fuel to make me feel incredibly energized throughout the day. Now, let's get to insulin. So insulin is a hormone produced by our pancreas. Notice how hormonal balance, insulin's a hormone. So it's produced by our pancreas. I already said, like I said earlier, its main job is to remove glucose, sugar, from your bloodstream into your cells where it can be used for energy or stored for later use. Like over here, I included a picture. So here's a cell. Here's your cell in your body. Here's an insulin receptor. And insulin basically just use like a key and lock. It just unlocks the cell, and then it uses the glucose that it had and grabbed from earlier, and it puts it inside of the cell. So that's what insulin's job does. And glucose goes inside of the cell and provides it energy. So here's a basic breakdown of how it works. You eat a meal that is high in carbs or sugar. Your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin grabs the glucose from your bloodstream. Insulin tells your cells to open up and absorb this glucose. Blood sugar and insulin levels go back down after the glucose is stored or used. So basically everything goes back to normal. But there's lots of things that happen in between the insulin and glucose spike that you do not want. It's just completely terrible for you, and you can just eliminate these huge spikes and just make it much more easy for you to just keep stable levels of energy and hormones. So why you want to keep insulin levels low and stable. When insulin is balanced, your energy stays consistent, your body burns fat efficiently, and hormones stay regulated. You avoid hunger and crashes. But when insulin is constantly spiking from frequent high carb or high sugar meals, problems start to appear. So, like I said earlier, your energy stays consistent. Your body burns fat efficiently. So whenever your insulin is low, you burn fat like this, because whenever your insulin is low, you're in a fat burning state. But whenever you're in a high insulin, your body basically, so insulin basically is like a signal for fat storage. Like your body wants to keep fat and store more fat if your insulin is high. But if your insulin is low, then you can burn fat efficiently. But people, whenever they want to lose weight, their insulin is high and they have an insulin resistance over time, which I'll talk about that later, which is, it's down there as insulin resistance. But insulin resistance over time causes you to have higher insulin, and people can basically just get trapped in this endless loop of them having high insulin all the time and them not being able to lose any sort of fat because their insulin is super high all the time. So that's basically how that works. The problems start to appear. So it all begins with glucose levels, but I had to explain glucose levels because that's what causes insulin to rise. What happens when insulin stays too high too often? Your body stops responding to insulin the way it should. This is called insulin resistance. This is the underlying cause of most of your problems inside of your body. This is what it leads to. So it's all like a butterfly effect, but this is what it leads to: insulin resistance. Insulin resistance means that your cells stop listening or stop responding to insulin. So your pancreas tries to overcompensate by pumping out even more insulin to make your cells respond to it. So basically, I've done a lot of explanation in the video. I know I've already kept this pretty long. It's about like maybe an hour or something long, but basically, insulin resistance is just when your cells stop responding to insulin. So, like I said earlier, when it takes the key and it unlocks, when you keep having these insulin spikes, your cells don't want to respond to insulin very well. So your pancreas, your body wants your cells to respond, but they don't because they've become resistant over time. So your pancreas has to put out more insulin and able to store this glucose, in order to make your cells respond to it. So this creates a vicious cycle inside of your body. More glucose stays in the blood, high blood sugar, which causes a ton of problems on its own, and more insulin is released, and to try to fix that. And over time, this can lead to prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and serious hormonal disruption. And that's why all these people, like this guy over here, has insulin resistance most likely, because a lot of obese people, I'm gonna give it to you straight, 90% of Americans have at least one symptom of insulin resistance or metabolic dysfunction. That is terrible. 90% of Americans, you watching this video, probably have one of this. So if you need to pay attention, because insulin resistance, you probably have insulin resistance, and you're gonna end up like this guy if you don't change it. So like somebody like this that is watching this video, like they're probably stuck in this vicious cycle of trying to lose weight, but they can't because their insulin levels are high, not allowing them to actually lose weight. So it's just a constant vicious cycle that it sucks to be in. It really sucks. So how this affects hormones and fat gain is when you're insulin resistant, fat burning shuts off. So insulin is a storage hormone, and high levels signal to your body to store more fat and not burn it. So like I said earlier, insulin is a hormone that wants you to store energy and keep fat and not burn it. So testosterone and estrogen get disrupted in men. Insulin resistance often leads to low testosterone. In women, it contributes to insulin or estrogen dominance, PMS and PCOS, And with women who are already going through or have gone through menopause, it causes the symptoms to get worse. And that's what that group of people who have obviously hormonal imbalance, PMS, PCOS, and menopause. Those are the type of people that I'm really trying to help in this video, because I know that this is mostly geared towards you, because hormonal disruption when you get older is really, really bad, and it's just a constant cycle, and you're just digging yourself a deeper hole, and nobody really has the answer to, like hormonal balancing. Nobody talks about it. Your doctors don't talk about it. They just prescribe meds for you, whatever, HRT, like hormone replacement therapy. Like if you're a woman watching this or a guy watching this that wants hormone replacement therapy, just keep watching, because I want you to try this first, because I know that all of your doctors that you've went to have just told you that, like they're just going to prescribe you shots or meds to fix your problem. And it's just, again, going to put a Band-Aid like they prescribed to me, drugs like they did earlier, but it didn't work. So I want you to try this out. When we keep going this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. And I want you to put this into practice to try to actually do this for yourself. Do it the natural way, because it's the best way. So continuing on, cortisol increases. The stress hormone rises when blood sugar is unstable, which makes hormonal balance worse. Cravings go up. You become more hungry more often, especially for carbs and sugar. Energy crashes because your body can't efficiently use glucose, and you feel tired even after eating. So even after you eat a lot of food, you still feel like hungry. You still feel hungry all the time, and you can't efficiently use your only energy source inside of your body. So it all comes full circle. I'm sure by now you've realized that everything relates very, very closely to each other. Glucose and insulin are a cycle, and they're a process, and they're heavily related. They go hand in hand, mano a mano, and they're both incredibly related to hormones and a hormonal imbalance. Literally, because insulin is a hormone. And now that you know what all of these things are, how they function, and why they're so bad for you, I hope that you understand that this is a major problem that a lot of people are facing, like I was. Like I was facing this really bad, as you probably know if you watch this far in the video. But this is what the low spike diet is here to fix. It solves every single problem and has zero flaws. To my knowledge, it has zero flaws so far. It just completely eliminates any sort of flaw that you can think of when it comes to balancing glucose, insulin, and hormones. That's why it is perfect. Now that we know what the problem is, we have to set up a plan. This is the next part. So, setting up a periodization plan. First, I had to understand periodization. What is periodization? It means like the actual definition of it is dividing something like time or process into periods or stages. So, when I talk about periodization in diet and my clients and training sense, I mean that you have to plan out the next months or years and a plan with a certain outcome. What do I want out of this diet? What do I want out of this training protocol? What is my goals, and what are my goals that I have in mind for long term and even for short term? Do I want to lose weight? Do I want to get lean? Do I want to build muscle? Do I want to gain weight? At the start, I had to figure out all these answers to these questions like this. I had to define clear goals and design a periodization plan I had to follow to achieve the outcome that would get me, closer to my goals. There's many different types of periodization. Periodization to me is broken down into weeks, even days, even though they are technically considered to be over a longer period of time. Like periodization normally means like a very long period of time, but obviously that long period of time is broken down into days or weeks. So the periodization that I like to use daily are things like meal timing, training time, and what outside forces will affect my meals, and how workout timings every single day. So how can I get the most out of my workouts? That's the kind of questions that I'm asking myself. That's where I plan out my meals to where the energy from those meals will be the most effective. So I have a whole plan in the low spike diet. The low spike diet is not just like what you eat; it's how you eat it, when you eat it, the times you eat it. Like how can you periodize your plan throughout the day? Because the low spike diet is not just what you eat; it's how you eat. It's a huge part of it is how you eat. So that's the most important thing. And periodization is a huge tool. That's why it's one of the core foundations of this diet. So When should I eat my carbs? When should I eat my protein? If I can eat this, can I output more force in my workout? At what time of the day should I work out to experience the best gains? That's all the questions I ask myself. Yeah, these are the type of questions. So, first thing, mesocycles. I'm going to keep this all pretty brief because it can be pretty boring. We want to get to the actual juice of the diet. But phases in one's training or diet phase that last around 1 to 4 months that have one decisive outcome in mind. So, this is what a mesocycle looks like. This little hump is what a mesocycle looks like. So this is years and years of progress. But this is what a mesocycle looks like. Oh, sorry. No, this whole thing is a mesocycle. So, example, people often try planned approach of taking planned recovery weeks after a couple of weeks of training, shown in the second figure on the right. Yeah, so each of this is a mesocycle, and then you take like a diet break or a weekly, or not weekly, but a week deload every couple months or so. And that's what the periodization is, because they have a plan. Like, you're doing this at this time. You're not just training and then like, oh, I don't feel like going. It's planned, and then you plan to take off and recover and go again and go again. It's a constant cycle of just getting better. And then the next thing is blocks or training blocks training blocks refers to a much longer period of time than mesocycles. Usually mesocycles are planned to be a long part of a training block. So examples are blocks are 3 to 4 mesocycles, which usually turns out to be around 6 months to over a year. It could be longer or shorter depending on your situation, what you plan a training block around. But this whole thing right here, this whole graph, is what I would consider to be one training block. So obviously you make a lot of progress on this time, but it's basically just a breakdown of a lot of different mesocycles. So for example, in this picture I showed earlier, I was in a bulking phase and I wanted to add muscle, and of course I did a lot of things wrong here because it was my my come up story or whatever. But it's a good example of a goal that I set for myself for the block, and that I wanted, and that I was in at the time. I made a lot of mistakes back then, and it blunted my progress. Now I know exactly what to do if a tough situation arises and I need to overcome it. I have used periodization for a very, very long time now, and I attribute a lot of my progress to my goals that I set myself in the plan, and the plan that I made to dedicate for a long period of time. Periodization is one of the most important ways to make the best plan of action and to achieve goals in a smart manner. So you have to have a plan. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Like, at this time, I did have one large goal of just, getting bigger muscle. And, that's why I was eating so much on that vacation, is just because I was, I wanted to bulk and get more muscle, and I wanted to let loose and, whatever. But I wasn't really planning about, all I had in my mind in terms of the periodization at that time was basically just bulk and dirty bulk and just eat whatever you can in sight. That was not the move, but it was a good example. So obviously it's not a smart manner as I do now, but it was a way. If I didn't have a periodization plan, my system would have crumbled and I would have lived day to day without feeling like I accomplished nothing. So before this, I did have somewhat of a periodization plan, and I kind of planned out my days and how things went. Just not as consistent as I am now, but over this whole time, over the 3 years that I've been training, then I did have somewhat of a plan. And if I didn't have a plan, I wouldn't have gotten. I mean, I'm not in shape here at all, but I would have zero muscle and I'd be really fat at this time. So I had a little bit of planning. So you have to have a plan. I see a lot of people's plans that they are complete shit, and I had to make sure that mine was not shit and designed perfectly. Periodization was one of the most important things I did to achieve where I am today. You have to have goals. It's really important. Next, optimizing diet and food that directly balances hormones. So, my diet was filled with a bunch of shit, as you can see in this picture. It was filled with hormone and balancing foods that wrecked my health completely. I even thought that most of the foods that were healthy, because online people were telling me that they were healthy, but I was very, very wrong. So many people online told me that, work-life balance, but work-life balance in terms of, my diet or whatever. But I was very, very wrong in that. I chose to eat unhealthy foods all the time without thinking of any of the consequences. I was letting life sweep me off by my feet because I had zero control of what I was doing at all. I was eating out all the time, but not thinking it was complete junk food. I coped by saying it was all healthy, and I went out a lot, eating things like bread, pasta, chicken tenders, sandwiches, pizza, thinking that was actually healthy. Yeah, I thought these foods were actually healthy because I was not actually eating things like, ice cream and cake, because I thought the only thing that was really unhealthy at the time was just, ice cream and cake and really bad processed sugars, which, yes, they are bad, but like the food that I was eating at that time was still shit. And over time, I continued to eat foods like that. I dug myself into a deep hole, a really deep hole, that was extremely hard to get out of. I complained when things were wrong, but was not willing to keep myself accountable for my own actions, and I didn't realize it was just literally me being lazy, stupid, and arrogant. I was the problem back then. I was the problem of, where I was, like, not getting any progress, Like, I kept complaining about my skin and just, how it was, but going back, I could have done the research that I had now, but I did a lot of research. I won't lie, I did a shitload of research, but it wasn't the right one. Going back, I changed some things, but it wasn't the right kind of research. I was just doing very mainstream things, and it didn't help me at all. Now I eat foods that fuel my day and are not full of garbage, but for a very long time, I had the worst approach when it came to dieting. I wasted years of progress, probably around 2.5 years, because of that. Let me talk about the big mistakes that I made when starting a diet. So first, cutting out carbs. This is a big one. Cutting out carbs is a disaster waiting to happen. Everything that you've been told about when cutting carbs is false. Yes, carbs are directly related to fat, but cutting them out is not the answer. There is a way to help. There's a way to help those. There's a way to have those carbs help us 100% of the time. I know it's hard to believe, but it's completely possible. Or to use carbs the right way, and you will see results like never before, like I have and like my clients have. The second is cutting out foods that you love. So, hands down, one of the worst ways to go through a diet: find out foods that you love, eat them every day so you can keep your diet sustainable. Deep down, people hate eating their bland-ass food when dieting. Chicken and rice, that's so fucking lame. Unless you love chicken and rice, but I don't love eating chicken and rice every single day. Like, I keep my diet very, very, varied. I don't keep it the same every day. Hell no, I don't keep it the same every day. It's very different every day, and it's just full of foods that I love, and I've over time loved, and just will continue to love them. And at the end of the day, when they have those late night cravings, and all they can think about is their favorite snacks that they told themselves that they can't have, and then they feel like shit because they want to eat that so badly. Everything becomes 100 times easier when you can actually eat the foods you enjoy. So, those are my two things that I made 2 mistakes on. Those are the 2 limiting beliefs that I had to crush in order to achieve my sustainable lifestyle. I really struggled without them. So, but those weren't the only mistakes that I made. I was also eating foods that everyone thought was healthy, but was destroying my hormonal health. So, if you were waiting for the actual diet portion of this section, or part of this video, this is it. So, number 1, I was eating fast foods. I thought this was healthy because it's not, ice cream. It's just, it's just bread. It's not going to hurt me. And, it's just seed oils and processed food. It's not going to help me or hurt me. And number 2, I had, salads and stuff. If you eat salad, like if you're watching this video right now and you are eating salads, for one, what are you doing? And 2, do you really think that's going to help you achieve weight loss? Genuinely ask that question to yourself. Do you think that's going to help you achieve weight loss? For one, it's going to completely destroy your hormones. I know you don't know this, but it's going to completely destroy your hormones, and it's a terrible weight loss tool. It's terrible. And 3, I had to add home cooked meals because I would have home cooked meals like this. I still have home cooked meals, but it's not this like packaged garbage that you get out fucking Walmart. Like, I don't eat any of that stuff. Like, people think that that's healthy, but it's not. I ate these types of food, and I thought that these foods were healthy because others told me that it was healthy and it was good macros. And I really thought it wasn't incredibly bad for my hormonal health. or it was really incredibly bad for my hormonal health. I thought that it wasn't bad. I really needed a reality check. None of these foods are going to help you feel better, look better, make you lose weight, or balance your hormones. We have all been told a lie. Really bad, really bad. Like, it's been sold very well. But I was not the only one to fall victim to this message, these messages. This right here is Scott. He was the type of person that was eating meals like the ones above, tons of fast food, and he was eating home-cooked meals that had a ton of bad ingredients in them. So he was like going out, when he was on the job site, whatever, and he wasn't at home to cook his meals, and he didn't bring any meals in because he thought it didn't matter, and he got fast food, and he thought it was healthy, and he thought it was fine. He was confused on what would help him lose weight. He constantly got exercise outside because, he worked outside on the job site. He got tons of steps in every single day. And he was wondering why he wasn't losing weight, even after doing so much exercise and cutting back on food. The problem that he was facing was the quality of his food. It was terrible. He didn't know at the time because he thought he was healthy. But he was eating garbage all the time. But he thought it was healthy food or healthy enough. He came to me wanting to lose fat, not knowing how. He had always been tired of working on the job site. He had always been tired while working on the job site for 6 to 8 hours a day while doing manual labor. So, even after using all this food that he loved and that he wanted to achieve fat loss so fast and so quickly and so easily, but he was so confused on how to do it. And he was working 6 to 8 hours a day, and he was feeling so tired, like constantly. He would just come home and he'd take naps. He came to me wanting to lose fat, not knowing how. He'd always been so tired on the job site. Oh, wait, I said the same thing. He would come home from work every single day, tired and wanting to take naps every other day. Literally, like I said, he wanted to take naps every single day. I have a picture of him taking a nap. Like, this is him on the beach, it's time to relax, but he was taking naps all the time. And as you can see, he wasn't really happy with, he was a bigger guy. He was big. And he wasn't really happy with his body. Fat loss was always on the table for him, like it is for everybody, and he just had to put on the right diet to do so. He was not happy with how he felt, and he decided to make a change. Scott started weighing off at 228 pounds when he came to me. 3.5 months later, he sent me the screenshot. 195 pounds. 195 pounds. That is 33 pounds of weight loss in 12 weeks. That's unreal. He had pushed through an entire fat loss phase and lost over 33 pounds in that little amount of time. That is 3 months. 3.5 months. And he stuck with the game plan and changed his lifestyle with the feedback I gave him, and that's how he ended up. So now he can't stop bragging to his wife and kids about how much weight he has lost and feels much more energized to get out and work every single day and doesn't have to take naps anymore. I can't tell you how many times that this guy has bragged to other people about about his weight loss and how much weight he's lost. He feels incredible, and he's still continuing to lose fat to this day. Like, he's still on my diet. He was going to quit after reaching his original goal was to get to 205 pounds. 205 pounds by the end of my program. He lost an extra 10 pounds easily, so quickly. And he has to brag to all the people around him because of how easy it was. It was incredible. The best part is that he said that this diet was the most sustainable diet he's ever tried, and he doesn't have to worry about getting the weight back because he doesn't have to revert back to his old lifestyle, and he was going to eat the exact same. So literally, he's going to stick on this diet forever. It's not even a diet. I call it a diet. I've created this thing to be framed as a diet, but it's an actual lifestyle. It's just it's kind of lame to say it's a lifestyle or whatever, but it's a diet. Yeah, it's a diet, but it's also a lifestyle. Eventually, when you start this diet, you're going to think it's a diet, but later on when you achieve your certain weight loss, you're not going to want to quit the diet. So you're just going to forever be on this diet, so it's going to be a lifestyle. I had to do a ton of research about what types of food were good for me and what foods were inevitably going to cause my hormones to become more unbalanced. And I would just mean healthy, I ate some pasta instead of some ice cream or a sweet snack. I mean, I mean foods that will purely benefit you without without any downsides, and will just purely benefit you and balance your hormones. After countless hours of researching, thousands and thousands of hours, I've finally figured out a system of foods that will actually give you the correct amount of nutrients and will fuel your day-to-day life, and over time directly cause your hormones to be completely balanced. So let's cover the whole foods. Whole foods, pretty fucking simple, guys. These are some pictures of meals that I've been eating. So, chicken thighs. What is the ingredients in a chicken thigh? A chicken thigh. Sweet potato. What is an ingredient in a sweet potato? A damn sweet potato. Going for my Greek yogurt bowl. Greek yogurt, and then I have, some fruit and honey and pomegranate arrows and kiwis. All single ingredient foods. This is all single ingredient foods. Next, I have this plate full of, eggs, and I like to keep my eggs crispy. That's why that looks so weird. And I have some Parmesan cheese, and then avocado, and I have some more cheese, more Parmesan Reggiano cheese. This is raw cheese. And I have some steak, and guess what? They're all single ingredient foods. There's like probably 5 ingredients on this entire plate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 or 5. It's insane. So these are all pictures of meals that I eat now, and they're all perfect examples of whole foods. These are all perfect whole foods that I've been eating. Whole foods are a foundation to a good diet, and it is essential to start with these types of foods. Whole foods have one ingredient. So like I explained, chicken thighs just have one ingredient. It's just chicken thighs. A good example is if you eat chicken breasts. Oh yeah, what's the ingredient? It's chicken breast. There's nothing else added with it. It's just simply one ingredient inside the food. Nothing more to it. That's just it. It's just one ingredient. I aimed to eat no more than 20 different ingredients every single day. So, in a day, like, this is what it'd be like. If I'm trying to aim for, under 20 ingredients, it'd be, so chicken thighs 1, 2, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10, 11, 12, 13. So yeah, I had about 15 in this day, maybe. Like, this is a lot, but it's all fruit. Like, it's all just one ingredient. But if you're going out to eat and stuff, just try to make sure that every single thing that you eat outside of, diet and food that you cook yourself is all just, less than 20 ingredients. So now that we covered whole foods, let's move on to what categories of food you should actually be eating. I constructed 5 different categories of food that I have ate, and I've figured to be having, or I've found to be having absolutely 0 downsides. So this is the food that got me to feel and look the absolute healthiest that I've ever been. Pay attention to this part. It's incredibly important. So, honey. Honey is the first one. It has antioxidants, amino acids, and vitamins. I know that people may say it's just sugar, but there's a lot more to it. And sugar is it also possesses anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and antibacterial properties. So it's incredibly healthy for your gut and your health. It's a really good sweetener. It's a really good pre-workout. I use it all the time. I eat honey. God, I think I've eaten honey like probably 50 days in a row now. Next is fruit. Fruit has an abundance of nutrients, including vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber, supporting hormone metabolism through detoxification. So, fruit is extremely important in this diet. Honey and fruit is the only kinds of sugar that you should really be getting at all. It is completely safe for you, and there is actually no known research out there that proves that honey or fruit is going to increase insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes or metabolic dysfunction whatsoever. So basically, you can eat these foods without any downsides because they were made to be eaten. We've been eating these foods for thousands of years, so you shouldn't be afraid of them. There was no such thing as insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, obesity back then. That didn't exist, and fruit and honey existed back then. What didn't exist back then? Seed oils and fucking processed sugar and processed foods. Those are the 2 things that are destroying our diet, if you want to really know. So, fruits. And then meat. Meat is extremely good for your hormonal health. It is so packed with so many different things. Has complete protein, essential fats, key vitamins, and minerals. It is filled with this, especially red meat, that are either difficult or impossible to get in any amounts, in optimal amounts from any plant food alone. So Those are the big three. Next, I guess eggs can be probably the big three. Fruit, meat, and eggs is probably the big three, but I'll get to eggs in a sec. Raw dairy. So raw dairy is extremely, very highly nutrient dense, and it has enzymes that help with digestion, probiotics, and improve gut health. And it has 3 omega 3 fats that will help with hormonal health. So I love raw dairy. You don't have to drink it. It's not an essential part, but I believe it's very, very good for you. And there's very few instances where you shouldn't drink it. It's very healthy for you. You've just been brainwashed into thinking that's bad. Grass-fed eggs. Fuck, I didn't mean grass-fed eggs. I meant pasture-raised eggs. Pasture-raised eggs. Forget about grass-fed. It's pasture-raised eggs. One of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. It is literally like nature's multivitamin. That's what it's called. It has cholesterol and saturated fats, which are incredibly important for the building blocks for hormones, and have a high quality protein and antioxidant that that help reduce inflammation. So all 5 of these, this is the 5 categories of food that I've constructed for this diet that are absolutely just going to be the best hormonal benefits. If you eat these foods for the next 60 days, you will feel a complete difference in your gut. You will never want to eat any sort of junk food again if you just eat these foods, regardless if you do a calorie deficit or whatever. It makes you feel incredible. So I would like to mention starches and how some of them can be very beneficial to eat. I wouldn't say very beneficial to eat, but notice how I said some and not all. There's not a lot of them. There aren't a lot of starchy carbs that are truly healthy. The only starches I would recommend are sweet potatoes, white potatoes, white and brown rice, and sourdough, in that order. So I would say if you're going to eat a starch, number 1 pick would be sweet potatoes, and then white potatoes, then white and brown rice, and then sourdough bread. Make sure that you get them from healthy sources, so they're clean. Make sure to wash them off. But now let's talk about vegetables, because I'm sure people are wondering, why is he not mentioning vegetables in this video? Like, why? Vegetables are healthy, right? Vegetables are supposed to be a health food. So I didn't eat very much vegetables. I still don't to this day. I hardly eat any vegetables. I don't eat salads. I don't eat vegetables. I can't remember the last time I ate a vegetable. I don't generally recommend them due to the high amount of anti-nutrients inside of them. Anti-nutrients are basically just natural compounds found in many plants. So, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, and vegetables. These can stop the absorption or function of nutrients inside of your body. So basically, it's kind of like what glucose does. Is basically gets inside of your body, and these anti-nutrients, they basically bind onto certain, instead of it being molecules like glucose does, these anti-nutrients bind to nutrients that are also being eaten by you. So let's say if you eat like chicken, and you have anti-nutrients inside of your body, they will latch onto these nutrients, and they will stop you from absorbing them. Not good at all. Yes, they have lots of fiber, but a lot of them do not hold a very high nutritional content, and you can also get them you can also get all the nutrients and fiber from other foods of the categories that I listed. So you can get all the nutrients from honey, fruit, and meat for the most part. You get it from everything. All of these are super incredibly nutrient dense, and you can get these from these 5 instead of just vegetables. So the only vegetables I would recommend in someone's diet is root vegetables. So like I mentioned earlier, sweet potatoes and carrots. I didn't mention carrots, but since if you're gonna eat a vegetable, just try to focus on non-leafy green stuff, because the leaves is what have defense chemicals on them and the anti-nutrients on them. So like oxalates are very high, and that's an anti-nutrient. On things like spinach, like leafy greens. Leafy greens have a lot of anti-nutrients and defense chemicals on them, so I would just avoid them at all costs. Even if cleaning them off, it doesn't help all that much. So one of my clients, I don't know why I blurred out his face here, but one of my clients changed his food to fit the 5 categories. He executed it to perfection and got one of the most insane results I've ever seen in my life. This is Max. This is the first photo he sent me when we started working together. I knew that there was something good looking on that frame. I know he had a good looking parameter there, and he knew it too. He gained around 30 pounds in his first year of college, and he wanted to get rid of it. He was in amazing shape before college, and he was one of the best basketball players on his high school team. But then college hit him, the freshman 15, but in his case, the freshman 30. He was surrounded by all the shitty foods and unhealthy environment, and he took advantage of, it too many times and ended up getting a really, really significant amount of weight. He was determined to shred it off, though, and he wanted to return to his peak condition. So I gave him his game plan, but he followed everything flawlessly. He lost weight so quickly, I had to ask him, what is it this week? 4 or 5 pounds down. It was absurd. So I'd have to ask this kid every single week, not did you lose a couple, 2 pounds, it was 4 or 5 pounds. This guy was losing weight extremely quickly. So yeah, this is what he looked like back then. You never know that he ever went to the gym or he was, in shape at all. Or you never even, suspect that he was even a basketball player. He was a star basketball player back then. He was incredibly in shape back then. But Max has been losing weight so quickly that I couldn't keep up with his progress whatsoever. He's been working with me for a month and a half. Keep this in mind before I show you this picture. A month and a half. The picture I'm going to show you might blow your mind. 22 pounds. He's lost 22 pounds in a month and a half. That's even crazier than the first one. And I thought the first one was crazy. I thought Scott's results were crazy. 30 pounds in 3 months. I thought that was crazy. 22 pounds in a month and a half. Yeah. That's insane. And you can almost see it by the facial expression here. He's so much happier because of the love handles and he feels like he tells me every single day that his stomach it feels so much more flat. This guy has gotten extremely good results. He loves the way he feels now, and you can almost see he's smirking then or there, and then he had oh wait, no, I poured it out. But in this picture, he had a frowny face on. His skin was clearing up. He tells me every single week how amazing he feels. He was still getting strength at the gym. He has 0 cravings, and he's making progress quicker than I've ever seen before in my life. And it just goes to show you how powerful this diet really is, as long as you just follow it. He shows no sign of stopping anytime soon either. So he had the same thing. He had the same thing as Scott, where he wanted to lose a certain amount of fat by that time. You want to get down to I don't know. I think it was 215, so 20 pounds, and in this program that we were going to do together, it's 4 months. But he's lost 22 pounds in a month and a half, which is absurd. So and he's still going to this day. So Max was 235 pounds when he first spoke to me, and now after the short period, he's 215. Actually, he's I forgot to change this. He's 213 right now. He wanted to get to 215, but this is his original goal. But he's now at 213 because he wanted to push even harder. We first set out the game plan, and he was going to stop at 110. Yeah, I guess he wanted to stop at 110. Sorry, not 115 or 215. He wanted to stop at 210. But he wants to go even further now, and he wants to make. He's made so much progress. He wants to shoot, to 205 or even 200 pounds. So, 30. He's going to shoot for 35 pounds of weight loss. Like Scott's gotten, and I'm sure that he can do it because he's followed the plan very well and he's achieved really good results. And I have no doubt in my mind that this kid will be able to do it because he's following my plan that I gave him exactly like I gave it to him. And he's following it flawlessly. I've had so much confidence in him. I have so much confidence in my diet that as long as you just follow it, you get crazy results. And the crazy thing is that he doesn't complain about a single thing. I've never heard him say that he was struggling with anything on his whole journey because of how easy it was to him. So the best part is that it just feels incredibly easy. I tell him every single week because I try to look for indicators of things that might stop his journey, cravings or do you feel tired? He's like, nope, I feel fine. I just want to keep going. So he just keeps trucking along. And we aren't done yet, but at this point, it's a guarantee that he will smash his goals undoubtedly, and he'll move further past them. So remember that these foods will balance your hormones, but what makes the real progress is that we have to use strategies to balance your glucose and insulin levels in order to balance your hormones. What will make you true real progress is everything combined together. So these foods and these 5 categories will naturally balance your blood sugar and insulin levels if you are to eat them every single day and follow a plan and eat these. But it is not the whole equation. You must do everything together to get the true results. So next, last but not least of the breakdown of the low spike diet, this is the long-term success with the TC system. So I've made a lot of progress, and I had lost a lot of weight, and so my clients, a lot of weight has been lost. That's perfect. We had all achieved our goal. So what now? What do we do now? After our big goal is achieved, what do we do now? The big question that everyone asks is, how do I keep the weight off and not gain it back? We've heard this so many times. I've been through this myself. There's so many people that have gone through this. It's torturous because whenever you go through this whole phase of trying to keep this fat off, and you've been through this whole journey, and you're like, you finally get to this point, and then you just gain it all back. Like, nobody wants that. Like, because you're gonna have to go through it again, or you're gonna feel miserable. So it's terrible. I use the TC system to help me stay shredded and not gain any of the weight back, and I kept everything off. The TC system is the Thrive Continuum. That's what I like to call it, the Thrive Continuum. People can lose weight. Few people can keep it off. That's because they don't transition from a fat loss phase into a sustainable, long-term maintenance lifestyle. That's what this diet naturally is, a natural, sustainable lifestyle. It's not even a diet, it's a lifestyle. That's what the Thrive Continuum system is designed to solve. When you finish a diet, your metabolism is lower, your hormones are becoming more and more unbalanced because your body is stressed. And your body wants to regain the weight that it lost because it's thinking it's starving. Because it thinks that it's biologically starving. The Thrive Continuum is something you can only start if you have done two things. The truth is, the reason we are all able to keep the weight off so easily is because of these two reasons. My clients is what I mean by we. Balanced hormones. When people finish a diet, they do not have balanced hormones. They're incredibly imbalanced. The difference is with us and how we've been able to keep the weight off so far, I've been able to keep my weight off really, really, really well, is balanced hormones. So by this time of the diet, if you do everything correctly and your hormones will be balanced, in my diet I'm talking about, not only is it going to cancel out the feeling of your body not wanting to gain weight back, but it's going to feel like it's going to make keeping the weight off feel 100 times easier because your body will constantly feel satiated. You won't feel fucking hungry all the time. And you only want the best food that gives you the most energy that you've gotten from all this time. You've never had any reason to gain back the weight anymore. You'll never have any reason to gain back any of this weight back anymore, and your body will feel incredible. This is how it's truly done. Stabilizing glucose and insulin levels, that's the second thing. So balancing hormones and stabilizing glucose and insulin levels, which is also a part of stabilizing hormones. It just goes hand in hand. If you balance your glucose and insulin levels, you will never have to worry about late night cravings, highs and lows every single day, brain fog, becoming insulin resistant, and feeling stress in your day-to-day life constantly. Everything falls into place whenever you've balanced your glucose and insulin levels. It solves most of your problems. And over time, it will also help stabilizing your hormones even more. Truly, I would not be where I am today without doing this. Another reason why I did not gain the weight back is because I changed my identity. Who I was. This is incredibly important. I think the diet is a lot about what you do, but it's a lot about mindset too. Like, who do you want to become? Who are you as a person? What is your identity? Like, if somebody asks who you are, like, what would you say about yourself? Are you out of shape, lazy, tired all the time? Are you in shape, a fit person, and active? Like, are you healthy or are you unhealthy? You need to snap back into your identity and think of who you are as a person, as yourself. Who do you see yourself as? I train myself and my clients to identify as a healthy person who does not want to eat food, or who does not. I train myself and my clients to identify as a healthy person who doesn't want unhealthy food or needs it. Identity is an extremely powerful and is stronger than you think. The reason why I wasn't where I shit, I'm losing my brain power here. I've recorded this video for like 2 hours. The reason why I wasn't where I wanted to be in the past was because of my identity. I used to have the mindset of a fat kid that I didn't care about health or anything. Now I know about Now I know that in order to be a healthy individual, I need to change my mindset into the athletic kid that wants to be in shape and wants to work out and wants to eat healthy food and wants to be a healthy person and wants to be, a symbol for other people. It's extremely powerful and it makes you feel amazing. I have extremely, extremely good congruency with my identity. So everything that I do in my day, I believe myself to be an extremely hardworking person that eats healthy, that works out, that trains, and that is incredibly consistent. And I do those things. So I live in congruency with my identity. And I feel incredible. I just feel like a flawless human being. I don't want to, develop an ego about myself or anything. I don't mean it like that. But I'm just very confident. I don't have imposter syndrome. I feel incredibly, incredibly powerful and just in tune with my actual identity. And that's why I've had so much energy throughout this video, even though it's 2 hours long. All right, now that you understand how the low spike diet works, I have an offer for you. If you are tired of diets that fail you every single time and are unsustainable, and you just are in that flywheel that we talked about earlier, or you're just constantly trying diets and failing and failing and failing because they're unsustainable, and you want an actual sustainable, not even diet, but lifestyle. That's what this diet gives you. Tired of having unbalanced hormones, tired of having low energy every single day, not knowing why, tired of cutting out carbs. Cutting out carbs is a big one that everybody does. Tired of restricting yourself. So you're restricting your food or whatever that you love to eat and you just don't want to do that anymore. And you are ready to go all in and become the healthiest version you have ever been, ready to make more progress and faster than you've ever could have imagined before. So fast. Ready to quit stressing and dealing with the symptoms of poor hormonal health and bad hormonal health, just bad health in general. You're ready to show everyone around you that you have achieved your dream body, ready to finally feel in control of your energy, cravings, and results. Finally, after so much time, even like me in my past and how I used to feel so out of control of, my results and everything that I wanted in my life, and you're ready to become the future version that you've always wanted to be, the future dream version that you've always thought that you wanted to be, how I always thought I used to be, who I always wanted to be myself. You can become this person. You can become this person. Men and women, 18 plus. So if you're 18 years or older, balance your hormones, reset your glucose and insulin levels, and lose all the stubborn body fat in 120 days while still enjoying the food you love. And if you don't lose 16 pounds, at least 16 pounds at the end of 120 days, I will continue to coach you completely for free if you do. Completely for free. So if you don't lose 16 pounds, I will completely coach you for free. Completely for free if you don't lose 16 pounds. That's my offer for you. If you want to book a call with me, it's in the description down below, whatever. Just book a call with me there. But yeah, that's my offer to you. If you really want all of these results, if you want to really change your life with the low spike diet, just book a call with me down below. I'm not going to keep this too long, but just change your life. I've given you all the steps that you need to, but if you really need coaching on how to actually do it and how to actually implement and really do the diet the correct way, then you can have coaching by me, and I promise you it will be the best diet, the best decision with health you've ever made in your entire life. I'm not trying to, over-exaggerate this, but it's seriously crazy how much progress me and my clients have made over this amount of time. It is insane. So I hope you have gotten extreme value out of this video, because it took me like a week to make this, but I just wanted to give this all to you for free because I feel like, it's really important that all these people, you guys, have this information that it took me so long, so much money to figure out, and so much stress to go through that it just doesn't need to be so stressful and hard. And it's not that hard to achieve your dream body, balance your hormones, just feel so much better in your life. If you really want to change your life, book a call with me down below. I hope you got immense value in this video. It was a long one. If you're here, I'm glad you enjoyed the video.